do a subscription even if you want. It's based in New York and there is one in California as well. And we always link to the store on our podcast page. And I mean, a lot of people like to stay up to date, but you know, you definitely have to support Japan. And we buy the weekly Jump issues, we buy the Japanese graphic novels, we buy the graphic novels that Viz puts out, and we definitely encourage everybody to do the same.
I have a question about the Jump books.
Yeah.
Now there are a couple of Japanese grocery stores here in Boston that sell the weekly Jump, but they charge you an arm and a leg for them. They're like $30 a pop.
Wait, $30 for one issue of Weekly Jump?
Yes. Yes.
Call Kinokuniya. They have a lot.
Like,
of
is it just because that Kinokuniya directly imports it that they can charge it at the actual price? Even though there's like an airfare and like a seafare, like for different ways of shipping, it's still not that much. I mean, in Japan, it's only like $2-3. That's how much these issues actually cost. So that's how much I paid for them when I went to Japan.
Okay, and by the way, we'll go to, if you have any other questions, just wait till the end of the panel. But no, that's a very good question. No, but they are cheap and it's very affordable. So anyways, we see a Lego Island themed one-piece color spread, which I don't know what Oda is on, but he creates some of the most fascinating stuff, and I love it. And so we see basically the whole crew there, and yeah, they're just working with the Lego blocks. Now, we're going to be going into the flashback we've been waiting for about 11 years. Questions at the end, please?
Didn't Oda say in his thing that he said that people can help create the he have people he asks for people's help to create the he doesn't ask
Yeah, there is he does actually. He had a contest once where people were able to design a color spread, and that was the one where it was kind of like the tracks that were going through the sky. A lot of them Oda creates himself, but if it is one that is recommended to him, he does have a note that says, this one was suggested by so-and-so. So when we went through the time skip and we had the first title pages with the characters and animals, he's like, he had the note from someone and their pen name. So when you see that, that's pretty much when Oda gets it from someone else. But he does accept those. In Japanese, unfortunately. But moving on to the Sun Pirates. So we have a major flashback going on here, which doesn't focus on any of the crew. And we see basically Fisher Tiger, who we know wanted to free the slaves, and we see him talking to Neptune here. And basically this is pretty much to describe what's going on, and basically that he's sick of how people are being treated, and even though he has things against the humans, he can't stomach it because he's not like them. So moving forward, we see Otohime, and so she's alive, and we see the two sides of the story. So we have Otohime, who's the more passive and wants to help everyone kind of thing, and wants everyone to get along. And Fisher Tiger, who's just fed up with the discrimination and wants to take action. So I still had no idea how Otohime had a baby that big, but God bless her.
Laying egg, maybe?
Yeah. All right. So we see Otohime in town, and she wants people to sign something saying, even the whole thing just happened on Marijoa, where, there was an attack, and people were set free. It's like, we want to live in harmony with the humans. And she wants to go at it, more of a peaceful way. And she wants to be part of the reverie again. She wants to be part of the World Council and have fishmen to have her presence there. So their worlds to be more united and everything. Pretty much less discrimination, more like let's all get together and figure this out, and how could we coexist with each other rather than live in these separate worlds. So here we see Cody, and we get to see that he was 15 years old at the time. And we have a lot of other characters as well, way too many to go through at the moment, but they always had the thing where it was like they're against the humans, screw the humans, etc. And basically, we hear Dharma saying, humans are nothing but shit, and that's what Arlong always says. And knowing what happened like 10 years ago at this point, when Oda did the Arlong flashback, the Arlong arc, we know what Arlong thinks of humans, and it's kind of interesting to now see this whole new perspective of where did Arlong get his hatred from. So even though the arc happened 10 years ago, go back and reread it, especially once this arc is done, because you'll get a lot more out of it. And that's one of the great things about One Piece in general, for anyone who is dragged here by a friend and isn't into it. That's one of the great things about One Piece. There is always something rewarding and always something you will rediscover. So we see the Sunny Pirates attacking a marine ship, and they're all going pretty brutal, especially Jinbei, who's more of the Yakuza kind of guy. And so basically it's pretty much just a spread of them attacking, and then basically the main thing to take from this is Fisher Tiger having a limit. Like, okay, we damaged him, we don't have to kill him. Because as you see on the bottom, Arlong is saying, like, simply being human is enough of a crime to warrant an execution. Like, he's like, because you're human, I'm going to kill you. And Fisher Tiger's like, that's not what we're fighting for. This isn't what we're doing. We're sending a message, they're sending a violent message, but they don't want to actually kill anyone. Alright, so now we get to see Marineford and Kizaru in a Dick Tracy kind of outfit.
Juice.
So, no, and then we see Strawberry with like this little hat on top of like this huge piece of hair that goes straight up, and he really should stick to the hood. And if you don't see it, it's like the middle page on the left.
And the bottom left.
Yeah, so you guys, from this whole thing, what are your thoughts so far on the chapter before we go into kind of like Act 2 of the chapter? Let's, I'll open it up right now. Yes, sir.
It helps explain, like as you said, on how Arlong feels against humans. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time you see how they're always afraid of how the fishmen are. But then you also get to see the other side of the coin and why they feel this way versus on why they attempt to hurt and harm so many people when that's not exactly what they meant to do. Okay. It's just how they feel they should be.
Right.
Good. One thing I've noticed, like from this whole backstory so far, is I see kind of a parallel. Between the Otohime and Fisher Tiger, like almost a Martin Luther King and Malcolm X parallel. Mm-hmm. However, with only Fisher Tiger is probably a little more muted, where Malcolm X was like by any means necessary, and even as opposed to Fisher Tiger, who is just like even he still has a limit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's a very good point. And the whole arc is very, very interesting. And as we go back to, after seeing the flashback where Strawberry is telling Kizaru pretty much like, there's these powerful guys on the ship, and then there's also like, Jinbei, who has his reputation. Kizaru is just as normal. It's like, oh, it seems troublesome. But we get back to the ship. And you see Fisher Tiger pretty much scolding Jinbei and Arlong for being way too aggressive. And Jinbei is just like, taking it how he wants, and Arlong's pretty much kind of not as level-headed. He's more hot-headed. And basically, the important thing to note here is Fisher Tiger says, if we kill them, we lose. And basically, they don't want to stoop to the humans level because the humans kill the fishmen, and they're just showing that, we could fight without killing. It's like, we'll fight these battles, but we're not going to kill anyone because we're better than them. So even though they're pirates and they're Marines, they're trying to kind of just show, look, the Marines stoop to this level. Who have we killed? What lives have we taken? We actually embrace life, and we actually find everyone equal.